Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Friday evening, October 5th, 2018. Tomorrow, October 6th, Kavanaugh is to be confirmed as the ninth Supreme Court Justice, and I want to talk about the big coincidence with it falling on that date, if you believe in words such as coincidence. So, October 6th, that is the day leaving 86 days left in the year. And it's also the day in history that Anita Hill came out with the accusation against Clarence Thomas, the sitting Supreme Court Justice, the accusation of sexual assault. And in the language of gematria, sexual assault sums to 86, like Kavanaugh, like Anita Hill, and like Thomas. The last Supreme Court justice to go through such a saga as Kavanaugh has, of course, was Clarence Thomas. So just ask yourself, what are the odds of things working out this way? Truly astronomical. Take away the gematria, even for it to land on this same date. Extremely unlikely. You factor in the gematria and you realize that what's being done is the contrived repeating of history. We always learn in our school classrooms, history repeats itself. And those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. Well, I would add on to that, those who do not know gematria are doomed to not see how history truly does repeat itself in the most contrived of manners. So here it was, October 6th, 1991, 27 years ago. Come tomorrow, Anita Hill came out on NPR against Clarence Thomas. And consider that was 27 years ago. What we know is the ritual number. Ritual has the gematria of 27. All of these are contrived rituals and numbers. They are carried out by Freemasonry, which is a very ritualistic secret society that abides by old world knowledge such as gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. Other things that are interesting. October 6, 2018 is a date with 54 numerology. Jesuit order has gematria 54. Again, Kavanaugh is a Jesuit. The majority of the Supreme Court is Catholic/Jesuit. On September 27th, when Kavanaugh had to defend himself against Christine Blasey Ford, that was the Jesuit order's birthday, September 27th. Also interesting about October 6th is that the date can be written 10/6, like 106. A judge on the Supreme Court is truly the ultimate authority of the land. Authority has the gematria of 106, and better yet, it's also Clarence Thomas's 106th day of his age. Consider once upon a time, when he was a younger man, 27 years ago, he had to go through this exact same process. Clarence Thomas was 43 years old then. Kavanaugh born on the 43rd day of the year, February 12th. The name Ford in gematria sums to 43, as does Masonic. The many, many coincidences. There's more I want to talk about. I just want to check the chat room. Okay, people are here. Looks like people are talking UFC in the chat room. So another observation about today. There was only one Republican senator who voted against Kavanaugh, and it was Lisa Murkowski, a woman. And lo and behold, it was Lisa Murkowski's 137th day of her age, or 137th day. In case you're new here, that's a big number in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. has the gematria of 137. Government has the gematria of 137. Authority also has that gematria of 137. If you're new here, these are the 4 base ciphers: the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, the alphabet in reverse, Z is 1 back to A is 26, and the reverse alphabetic order with numerology. So what a coincidence. Lisa Murkowski on her 137th day. She gets a headline about her for being the lone woman to go against Kavanaugh. Murkowski is also a good name for Washington. Notice the gematria of 140. Washington has that gematria of 140. You know, notice the 49 in Washington. Kavanaugh has that gematria of 49. All the puppets in D.C. are named accordingly for the parts they play in the ongoing theatrical play that is our federal government. Again, we covered this earlier, but why not mention it again? The big speaker today was Susan Collins, SC, just like the initials for Supreme Court, you know? And as we talked about with Susan Collins, in light of the Jesuit rituals, Susan Collins sums to 158, like Freemasonry, but also like the date August 15th, 15/8, the formation date of the Jesuit order. Their formation date, August 15th, their official establishment date, September 27th. So, great name gematria for the big Jesuit ritual. Notice Collins is 105. What's today? October 5th, 10/5. Collins, the big speaker on the day. Masonry has the gematria of 105. The Supreme Court is very religious in makeup, all Catholic and Jewish. Bible has the gematria of 105 and 33, like Masonry. Today's date, October 5th, 18, 10 plus 5 plus 18, 33. You know, isn't it amazing how the coincidences just stack day after day? Notice Collins, 84. Masonry's also 84. Masonry's got its headquarters in Washington, D.C., the city named after the 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason George Washington. And just in case you haven't heard me say it already, it wasn't any accident that the Jesuit Brett Kavanaugh was talking about drinking beer so much on the official establishment date of the Jesuit order, September 27th. You know? Just all ritual. And again, playing on the beer theme, Kager equals 53. These headlines from today, October 5th, 18, also a date with 53 numerology. Kavanaugh, 53 years old. Again, this entire process is very religious. Religion, 53. Speaking of Catholics, if you haven't read my book, Letters and Numbers, which is linked in the description, still priced at $5 momentarily, 773-page book that took me 5 years to write. Getting more and more people piling up the emails saying, Zach, you got to raise the book price to at least $20. And maybe I will. A lot of people are saying it's going to sell better if I raise the price because the average person can't afford that, and they look at a $5 book and they think it must not be worth anything. So, anyway, if you want to get the book while it's still $5, the time is now. But in this book, I teach about a lot of things, including how the entire federal government's a scripted puppet show that's very repetitive, as today's news further proves. I also talk about the code of murder by numbers and how often people in connection to the Catholics and Jesuits get off by the code. Now, in the headlines today, we get this, latest Catholic Supreme Court justice, and we also get the story of the death of a young black man, a college football player at the Catholic University Duquesne. And right away what jumps out is that he supposedly committed suicide by jumping out of a 16th floor of his building through a window. I want to show you what's very relevant about the number 16 in light of football. 53 is the 16th prime number, right? 53 is the 16th prime, and the shape of the football in sacred geometry is the Vesica Piscis. All of these numbers are relevant in these ciphers, but the most important is always the dark blue one. And Vesica Piscis equals 53. It's why in the NFL there's a 53-man roster, a 53-yard wide field. It's the shape of the football. And this man, he went to school in Pennsylvania. That's where Duquesne is. Pennsylvania 53. Last year, the team from Pennsylvania made Tom Brady and the Patriots, well, in the era of Tom Brady, 5-3 in Super Bowls. If you were following the Super Bowl last year, which I predicted what it would be in September of last year, as I so often do, in the world of rigged and scripted sports. I pointed out along the way that the Super Bowl was going to be on Jerome Brown's birthday. Jerome Brown died at age 27, the ritual number. Died in a car accident, supposedly, with his 12-year-old nephew. He was a football star for the Eagles, died during the season. He would have turned 53 years old the day the Eagles won their first Super Bowl, defeating the Patriots. Would have turned 53 that same day. My point is, these people murder people. They plan out rituals long in advance. They do everything by a perfect code. And this man's the latest victim of it. The other thing about 16 is when you write it down as a word, it has a lot of special gematria, but the 33 is a big one because it's masonry that runs the world of education and college sports. Masonry 33, secrecy 33, order 33. Pennsylvania's the Keystone State 33. There's a lot of things that jump out here. This news is coming today, but the story is that he jumped out of his window last night, October 4th, 2018. That was a date with a life lesson number of 25, and in our base ciphers, these are the 4 base ciphers, the word death has that gematria of 25, also 97, which is the 25th prime number. The Pittsburgh Police Department confirmed the details of what happened. It's not a coincidence that the band The Police put out the song Murder by Numbers. It's all part of a sick joke. Who has the authority to get away with murdering people and blaming it on suicide? He jumped from the Baratier Hall. We'll talk about that. First, I want to talk about his name. Marquise Brown. Notice the gematria of 170, 62, 73, 154, and 46. We're going to come to the 154 last, but 170, 62, 73, 46 for right now. Look at the word sacrifice. All of those numbers. All of those numbers right there. Notice the 27s, the ritual number. Think about the 27 club. If I write out ritual, of course it's 27. If I write out ritual sacrifice, it has the gematria of 154. Do you see? Notice ritual sacrifice is also 73, just like sacrifice alone. And notice the 107 too, because we're going to talk about how that connects to the hall. First, notice Duquesne, where he died, has perfect overlap with murder. Be interesting to go through the history of the school. I'm sure this has happened before. Suicide also has the gematria 34. You know, they're saying he jumped out the window on his own. But notice this hall name, Baratier, 107. Ritual sacrifice, 107. Notice the 44, big kill number. Kill 44. Execution 44. Story comes from an officer 44. Other things jump to 59, another number associated with killing in Jewish gematria. Number often connected to the killing of young black men throughout history. Negro, slave, and blues have the gematria of 59. Forbes Avenue, that's interesting too. But it's just really sick, you know. I just did a video on a dead college football player just days ago, and I said, you know, by next week we'll probably have another one of these stories. Man, we didn't even have to go, what, 2 days? Was it yesterday? It hasn't even been 48 hours. And we'll probably have another one next week. The thing is, most people aren't paying attention to the news. They're not catching all the stories. When you pay attention to the news, as I have for the last 5 years, because I'm out to prove a point, you see just how often this stuff happens and how repetitive it is. So another thing in the headlines today. You might recall this story. The other year in October, there were 2 stories that came out. Police officers shooting unarmed black youth, Ronald Johnson and Laquan McDonald. And the stories came out around the same time as the supposed terrorist attack in San Bernardino, California. And I'll remind you that San Bernardino shooting, for the first 8 hours after that shooting happened, the news media was reporting that 3 white males dressed in black were the suspects. And then after 8 hours, it changed from 3 white males dressed in all black to a Middle Eastern married couple, a man and a woman. And I thought, wow, okay, there were 3 people before. They were white. Now it's a Middle Eastern married couple inspired by ISIS. I don't know how the media got it so wrong again. But anyway, all of those stories were circulating at the same time. San Bernardino, Ronald Johnson, Laquan McDonald. And think about the subliminal in there with Ronald McDonald. McDonald's came to power out of San Bernardino. And further, the shootings in Chicago of Ronald Johnson and Laquan McDonald, McDonald's is headquartered just outside of Chicago. So it was a very clear riddle. The shootings of the 2 young men, supposedly they had both been shot a year earlier, and then all of a sudden they were big news a year later. It's like, well, wait a minute, how come we didn't hear about either of these stories in the last year? How come we're just hearing about it now, a year after the fact? So anyway, today, the officer who killed Laquan McDonald is guilty of second-degree murder. Why are we hearing about this news today, knowing that this is all contrived propaganda and made-up nonsense? Well, October 5th is the day leaving 87 days left in the year. Justice, right? Not very often do we get to hear this narrative in these types of shootings. Normally, the police officers let go to piss people off even more. But today, for some reason, they decided to throw the people of this world a bone. And the thing is, even though these stories are contrived and made up, this kind of stuff does happen in real life. Police officers do shoot and kill innocent people and get off with it. The only thing is, when those things actually happen, when the real stories happen, they don't make the news. Everything in the national news is contrived, and oftentimes it plays on real narratives, such as this story. But it is interesting that they decided to take it this route this time. So we get some justice, right? Because the story was, in case you forgot the story was that the officer lied and said that Laquan McDonald was coming at him with a knife. But then the video footage was released, and it showed that Laquan McDonald was walking away from the officer, and he was shot in the back. So anyway, again, today's October 5th, 18, a date with numerology of 105 and 33, like masonry. Masonry controls police. October equals 33, police 33, masonry 33, secrecy 33, order 33. The other one I often talk about in these racially divisive shootings is that race war is 33. Think about Rodney King. Rodney King beaten by the police on March 3rd. Again, police is 33. He was beaten by the LAPD, 33. Look at the name Rodney King, you guys. 59, like Negro, like slave, like blues. If you look up his birthday, Rodney King's birthday is April 2nd, 4-2. The other number stamped all over Black History, 42. Rodney King supposedly drowned at age 47. He drowned supposedly on the same day that became the Charleston church shooting massacre, another racially divisive story. Notice the date Laquan McDonald was shot, October 20th, 2014, 10 plus 20, 30, plus 14, 44, so it was a date with 44 numerology. 10 plus 20 plus 20 plus 14, also a date with 64 numerology. And we always get stories of killing on dates with 44 and 64 numerology. And shootings also 44, gunfire 44, again, officer 44. So can't help but notice the shooting happened on the 87th Meridian West either, in light of this justice coming on the 87th day. So some news stories, thought I'd cover them this evening. I was supposed to do a radio show, but the host backed out on me. She was worried that if she had me come on her radio show, that a call for an uprising would come after her, which I found really interesting, but That's what she told me. She said she didn't want to call for an uprising to get upset with her. So I don't know if they're friends or what, but if any of you were looking forward to that radio show, that was the reason she decided not to have me on. So, and she didn't let me know. I found out after the show began, but let's see. I'll just give you guys this piece right now too. I've been talking a lot about the date August 11th, 2019. This was the latest observation. I said in my last live stream that I should look into Jared Kushner in light of how he lines up with Tisha B'Av, and this really blew my mind right here. I'm gonna end up doing another video on this, but those of you watching, you can be the first to see this information presented in the history of the world. So anyway, Jared Kushner, he's 37 years old right now. He's going to turn 38 next year at the beginning of 2019. And from his 38th birthday to the date we're looking at, August 11th, is 213 days later. Also 7 months and 1 day. Also 30 weeks and 3 days. Kushner equals 33. Like masonry, like secrecy, like order. But the big ones here are the 213 and the 7 months and 1 day. Because check this out. We think that the target on August 11th, 2019 is the Dome of the Rock. And look at the gematria of Dome of the Rock, 213. You know, what are the odds? We're already looking at this date, August 11th, from a million different angles. And then this lines up perfectly. With regards to 7 months and 1 day, temple equals 71, like Talmud. The purpose of destroying the Dome of the Rock is so that the third temple can be built, the prophecy to bring about the Jewish Messiah. And just so you guys understand, the Jewish Messiah is supposed to be the political leader of the one world order. Isn't that interesting? And understand, it's not going to all happen on August 11th, 2019. This is just going to be a major step in the process. You know, there's going to be more dates after this. There's going to be more dates before this. But a lot is pointing right at this date, August 11th, 2019, as we've covered in the playlist I put out. If you're new here and going, wait a minute, why August 11th, 2019? What you need to do is subscribe to my channel, go to the playlists, and watch the many videos and research I've put out on the date August 11th, 2019. Every piece we look at lines up perfectly for this date. Now, as a reminder, Jared Kushner equals 134. Tisha B'Av equals 134. 9th of Av equals 134. Tisha B'Av is to remember the destruction of the two temples, which is part of the prophecy of building the third temple. And the 9th of Av is the same thing as Tisha B'Av. It's just the English way of saying Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av is on the 9th day of the Jewish month, the Hebrew month, Av. So, beautiful alignment there. August 11th is Tisha B'Av 2019. And as we covered, Donald Trump, he was at the site of the Western Wall where they're planning to build the third temple on Jerusalem Day, May 22nd, 2017. Jerusalem Day equals 134. Make America Great Again equals 134. House of Cards 134. Melania 134. There's a whole lot of this number around Donald Trump. We're going to look at Donald Trump's visit to the Western Wall again because it's another incriminating piece in light of the date August 11, 2019. But with regards to Jared Kushner being 38 years old when this happens, Jew equals 38, Kabbalah 38. This is a very Jew thing, the prophecy of the third temple and the Jewish Messiah. August 11th, 19 will also be a date with 38 numerology. Consider death has gematria of 38, as well as 213 in the Satanic cipher. They say the false Jews will rule in the end times. They are the synagogue of Satan. If you're wondering how the Satanic cipher works, it's actually very simple. Instead of starting with A equals 1, you just start with A equals 36, and then you count it from there. B's 37, C's 38. What's really interesting is in Satanic gematria, if you write out Satanic gematria and use the cipher, it sums to 666. 666, which is a big number with Jared Kushner. In light of Kushner's birthday being January 10th, 1/10, kind of like 110, remember that number relates to prophecy. Prophecy has the gematria of 110. Prophecy also has the gematria of 38. It'll be 38. In Jewish gematria, prophecy equals 666, like the building that is associated with him on 5th Avenue. And again, this code of letters and numbers comes from Kabbalah. The evil half of Kabbalah, not all of Kabbalah is bad. There's a positive half that's about spiritual ascension. There's a negative half that's about hurting other people. And it's not hard to see what half these people are using. That half has this name that I always forget how to pronounce. But you can see it on the screen. It's spelled Qliphoth. And it has the 666 value. So, as you can see, these plans, they're very well thought out. And it's not Kushner pulling the strings. It's not Trump. They're the pawns on the chessboard for the people who do. They were born to fill these roles. Now let's go back to Trump's visit to the Western Wall near where they planned to build the third temple. Let's not forget that Tisha B'Av equals 911 in Jewish gematria to remember the destruction of the two temples, not unlike the two towers, which Donald Trump had a lot to say about when it happened before he flipped his opinion. Donald Trump first said it was impossible for those buildings to come down from a plane and that there must be bombs inside. But here's what it is. Donald Trump visited the Western Wall. This picture right here is from May 22nd, 2017. 2 days later, he was at the Vatican with Pope Francis. I'm sure you remember that photo. Everybody dressed for the funeral. But from May 22nd, 2017 to August 11th, 2019, the date we write 8/11, like 811, it's 811 days later. 811 days later. And as we talked about, 811 is the 141st prime number. We'll come back to why that matters. But I just want you to see again, May 22nd, the 142nd day of the year, leaving 223 days remaining. August 11th, the 223rd day of the year, leaving 142 days remaining. The synagogue of Satan equals 223. Terrorist equals 142, like how they said the 9/11 attack lasted an hour and 42 minutes. So here's the other big piece. Donald Trump inaugurated January 20th, 2017, a date with 58 numerology. He announced he was running for president from the 58-story Trump Tower. He hired the 58-year-old Steve Ray for Inauguration Day. Big number with this presidency and a big number with this prophecy of the Third Temple. Third Temple 58, Herod's Temple 58, Solomon's Temple 58. Herod's and Solomon's Temple are the two temples destroyed that are remembered for Tisha B'Av. This is all from Jerusalem, Jerusalem 58, Freemasonry 58, Secret Society 58. August 11th, 2018, 8 plus 11 plus 20 plus 18. It's a date with 58 numerology as well as 38 like we talked about earlier. There's a little piece from a Jewish publication about how they plan to build the third temple near the site of the Western Wall where Trump was. So let's come back up here to the 811, and it's the 141st prime number. And again, you can verify all these things at gematria.com. Just come to number properties, type in a number, it'll tell you if it's prime. 811, yes, it's prime, it's the 141st. Even before we realized this thing about Trump and 811 days before, we were already talking about, or at least I was, how the other side I was worried about outside of Jerusalem and the side of Temple Mount and the Western Wall, and I said the other sites I'm worried about is Mecca, because it's the time of Hajj when that's happening, August 11th, 2019, the Muslim pilgrimage. It's also the time of the Muslim Day of Sacrifice next year, August 11th. And I said the other city I'm worried about is San Francisco, because the Golden Gate Bridge is there, and the Jewish prophecy is, the Messiah will appear through the Golden Gate. So all of these things are supposed to happen. The third temple's supposed to be in the works. The Jewish Messiah is supposed to arrive through the Golden Gate. So, how interesting that San Francisco, California is 141, and even more interesting than that is this right here. This is just the unbelievable part that just blows my mind. The current mayor of San Francisco, her birthday is August 11th, 1974. She's going to turn 45 years old in 2019. She's going to turn 45 on the date that we're worried about. And Golden Gate has the gematria 45 in the 2 reduction base ciphers. Again, if you come here, type in Golden Gate, our 2 reduction ciphers, it's 45 in both. And she's going to turn 45 on that date. Holy Bible is 45 forwards and backwards in those same ciphers. The word bridge is 45, just using the alphabetic order. Her name's London Breed, like London Bridge is falling down. She replaced Edwin Malley, who was murdered by the numbers. We covered that the day of his death. He was killed on December 12th. I did a longer video on this. Please check it out. But again, with regards to this woman being born in 74, London Breed. Don't forget, London's pretty much the Zionist Mecca of the world that predates modern Israel. London 74, Masonic 74, English 74, Lucifer 74, Jewish 74, Messiah 74. Big number here. Killing is 74. Big number here. And in case you haven't seen me cover anything on this topic of August 11th, there's a whole lot more to this riddle. But, I mean, isn't this already just overwhelming? So, this concludes the things that I want to talk about this evening. Before I go, I will come out and say hello to the chat. Have you seen Kevin Spacey's 9 Lives? I think there's a Masonic message or something written in the script of the first 15 minutes. I have not seen it. 9 Lives. I'll remember that name like a cat. Did you see that Kevin Spacey got shamed for sexual abuse at age 58? And he was in the show House of Cards, playing the president with the same name gematria as Donald Trump. House of Cards is 134, like Make America Great Again. Like how in cards there's the Trump card. Make America Great Again also sums to 404, which is how many verses are in Revelation. And this prophecy of the third temple ties in with Revelation. Holy Bible 45, Trump the 45th president. Thank you for buying the book, Sophia. Hey, Woody Cockerson, have you bought my book? I want to know if Woody Cockerson has read my book. Miss Mildred thinks the vote tomorrow will be 53 to 49. I think there's just 100 people voting, so it couldn't be that high. It could be 53 to 47. That would be funny. 53 to 47 would be funny. Gets the judge number in there, gets the religion number in there. Kavanaugh's 53. Somebody posted a bunch of Qs. My decodes are a lot better than Q, that's for sure. Have I looked into Ed Schiarini? I've heard his name. I haven't looked into him. I don't know much about him. Wasn't he associated with the Oregon standoff? Am I mistaken there? Can I do numbers on male Lanya the tranny? Oh, that must be the mail order bride. Well, I have done stuff on Melania. Her birthday was perfectly synced up with the election. If I'm not mistaken, her birthday is April 26th. And notice, Melania, we were talking about 134. I mean, Melania's even got it. Melania, 134. Melania Trump, 143, like Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. A lot of things jump out there about her name. Oh, I want to look up Melania's birthday. I'm pretty sure it's April 26th. Yeah. Donald Trump gave his victory speech this day, April 26th, 2016. And off the top of my head, I'm forgetting exactly how that lined up with, I forget if it was lined up with the election or the inauguration, but this was yeah, that's how it was. So Donald Trump guaranteed on April 26, 2016, Melania's birthday, that he was going to defeat Hillary and build the wall. Those were his two guarantees that day. And the thing about 197 is it's the 45th prime number. So he guaranteed 197 days before the election that he would win and become the 45th president. 197, the 45th prime. And how do you think he made such a guarantee? Because he knew that he was born and bred to be, just like he says in the Serta mattress commercial. What about Alex Jones? So, let's decode Alex Jones in real time. Alex Jones' birthday. I know what day his birthday is. It's February 11, 1974, right? So February 11th is the 42nd day of the year, and he's born in 74. And I just want you to see this. His hit show is InfoWars, right? InfoWars 42. And realize in that cipher, World Wars 42, Zionism's 42, Freemasons 42. Alex Jones got big after Waco. Waco has that gematria 42. And the name Alex has gematria 42. Notice when I write out Alex Jones, his name sums to 105 and 33, like Masonry. But the thing about Alex Jones and Masonry is they both have an S. And when there's an S in a word in the reduction cipher, this dark blue one, you can add 9 more, because S is the only letter that has to be reduced 2 times. So S is 19, in numerology 19 is 1 plus 9 is 10, and then 1 plus 0 was 1. So Alex Jones can equal 33 or 42, to go with the InfoWars, being born on the 42nd day, everything else. Being the little Zionist agent that he is. With regards to him being born in 74, if you write out 42, it has gematria 74. And again, Jewish is 74, Masonic is 74. It's not hard to see that Alex Jones is a coded out agent. And you're not going to hear from me that Alex Jones is Bill Hicks. I don't buy that. Bill Hicks and Alex Jones do look a little bit similar, but to me, not exactly the same. And the thing about Bill Hicks is he was way ahead of his time. He was a very funny man. He had a lot of wit. He had a lot of intelligence, and he spoke mostly nothing but truth. I mean, there were some things that Bill Hicks believed and said that I didn't agree with, but for the most part, he was right on. And Alex Jones doesn't have wit. He's not funny. He's been nothing but a shill the entire time he's been around. It's not an accident that Alex Jones got into Bohemian Grove. He got in because he's always been controlled opposition. And when you're a shill, you have to put out some truth, but the point of being a shill is to always lead people astray. And Alex Jones has done nothing but push false fear for his entire career. False fear, misleading people, not calling out who's truly responsible. He's also down in Austin. Austin's another 42. And if you were following me when they were having the Austin bombings, I said they'll stop with 5 bombings in Austin. There were 5 in Austin. 5's also 42, like the 5 points of fellowship for the Freemasons. Freemason 42, their motto, so mote it be. 42. Notice 42, 147, just like Freemason. So, yeah, I could tell you even more about Alex Jones, but isn't that enough? Isn't there something going on with Mike the Situation and his prison sentence? I don't know who Mike the Situation is. Is that one of the Guido dudes from MTV, is that who that is? Maybe I do know who that is. Do we have to say? All right, let's just. Okay. I'm just slightly curious. Mike, the Situation. Jersey Shore, yeah, it is. Following 8 month. Oh, sentenced to 8 months in prison. I already just see his birthday, July 4th. I just don't care enough. I mean, I guarantee you it's all news by the numbers and crap. I just don't. Just measure from his birthday to the day that the sentencing happened. We could do it, but I don't care enough. We're talking about how they're going to blow up Temple Mount. The situation just doesn't fit on the level. You guys want to know something? One copy of my book has sold the entire time I've been on this live stream. You know, I was watching this guy just waste everybody's time in a live stream last night, and people were donating money left and right. And I was like, man, really? This guy's not even talking about anything. People are just throwing money at him. Putting out the greatest book in the history of books. Nobody wants to buy it. Ed Sheeran, the singer. There's just always so many things to decode. What's going on with him? Ed Sheeran. I don't see any news story for him. You just want to know about him? Kanika Jenkins, yeah, and her death's in my book. So Chantel, pick up that book. $5. I'm going to raise the price. Get it while you can still get it for $5. Her death's in there. Did I hear about the burning hole in Arkansas? I did not. The 16th Street Baptist Church bombing is in my book, and your avatar is my book. So I'm thinking, what in the world? How can your avatar be my book and you be asking me about the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing? But here, I can tell you things about it real fast. Let's pull it up real quick. This happened September 15th, 1963. September 15th. All right, fine. I thought I had it ready to go off the top of my head, but I don't. So let's just do it like this. Let's open up my book. This is what's nice about the book being in electronic form. You can search it for things. 16th Street. It did happen in 63, right? We know racism equals 63. We talk about how, just like why they opened up the Emmett Till case 63 years later. But there's something bigger here. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Where'd my book go? It's the 106th thing. I remember that. See, did I put the image in here? I remember when Dylan Stormroof shot up the church, they had a fire truck parked in front of it with the number 106 on. They wanted everyone to see that. That shooting was on the same day that Rodney King had died in history, and he died 106 days after his birthday. And the 16th Baptist Street church bombing was on a date with 106 numerology. 9 plus 15 plus 19 plus 63 is 106. Somebody's bought the book right now. Thank you, Dwells77. Hold on. Maybe I didn't do the search right. I swear there's more in this book about the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing. I know there's definitely a lot of work on my blog. Let me try searching another way. Oh, there's also this. The September 15th, 1999 Wedgwood Baptist Church Massacre. You see how they did that? 36 years later. Baptists in 16 have that gematria 33. Maybe I didn't go as hard in the book as I thought I did on the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing, but I know I used to have longer videos and I decoded all the victims' names and let's see. Go to my blog real quick. So we came this far. Notice that church was on the 33rd parallel. When you write out 16, it sums to 33. Baptist 33, the 86th meridian. Symbol number, blood sacrifice number. Four Black Girls has the same gematria as civil rights, the victims. Date with gematria 34 like murder, 43. 34 is also church. It was a date with 34 numerology. Church and murder sum to 34 in the same cipher. Church 34, murder 34. Here's the fire truck from the day of the Charleston church shooting, which happened on the anniversary of Rodney King's death, 106 days after his birthday. And notice the Tea Party, Don't Tread on Me flag on the back of this. Tea Party sums to 106. And think about how the Tea Party is predominantly white. So this happened in Birmingham, which has the gematria 58 like Freemasonry. So yeah, it was a numerological ritual by the same very repetitive numbers. What's that porn star name that Trump paid off? Stormy Daniels. I just did a pretty long video on Stormy Daniels and her book and Ben Roethlisberger. Check it out. She's got the New World Order numbers. What about Little Baron Trump? I just did a longer video on Little Baron Trump. Or I talked more about Little Baron Trump as how his bar mitzvah is synced up with the date August 11th, 2019. He's going to turn 1,344 days before August 11th. And that's 144 days before. It's also... Oh, what is it? I forget what word I wanted. I'm going to come back to that. I'm trying to think what term is relevant to 145. There's a term that has to do with 145 that has to do with that date, August 11th. But it is also his 145th day. Catholic has the gematria of 145, but that's not necessarily the one I'm after. It's something else because... They say that the Catholic Church is responsible for making Temple Mount this important holy site in modern history, and historically, that's not the true site of the temple. Notice Catholics also 46, like Temple Mount. Can't think what it is right now. Something about 145. But yeah, even just the 144 days before, that's a big time number. So... What do you want me to say about Mark Dice? I mean, he's a obvious, shill, and provoker and racist and horrible human being, you know? I can't believe anybody that falls for Mark Dice. A lot of you guys think Bill Hicks is Alex Jones, but I don't know why Bill Hicks would ever play the part of Alex Jones. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I don't think anyone who says Bill Hicks is Alex Jones is familiar with Bill Hicks at all. I think they saw, this trash content on the web and they just started believing in that without having any real knowledge. It's like if some total loser appeared 20 years later that looked like me and was spouting off, that Freemasonry and Zionism are the greatest things in the world, and people were going, that person's Zachary K. Hubbard. It'd be like the same thing, because it just doesn't make any sense. So... Oh, yeah. Here, I want to go back and show you guys something about Alex Jones's full name, too. Gematria. Let's take his full name. I want you to see this. His full name is Alexander Emmerich Jones. Watch this. His full name has this Gematria 111, right? Look at InfoWars. 111. Isn't that nice? What are the odds? What are the odds it all works out so perfect? Alex. What do I think of Bill Cooper? Here, I'll show you what I think of Bill Cooper. I'll show you what I think of old Bill Cooper. His death is all kinds of suspicious. Or here, let's just do it in my book since it's open. His death's in my book. Bill Cooper. All right, so here's the death of Bill Cooper in my book. Born May 6, 1943, dead November 6, 2001. And think about how he died right after 9/11. And think about how November 6th, if you flip that date upside down, it becomes 9/11, right? November 6th turned upside down looks like 9/11, doesn't it? 11/6 upside down is 9/11. So I wrote it like this. Bill Cooper was dubbed a conspiracy theorist and is remembered for warning of the planned terrorist attack by the federal government that would be blamed on boogeyman such as Osama bin Laden. His warnings were proven true on September 11, 2001. 56 days later, on November 6, 2001, a date with numerology of 38, he would be gunned down in a gunfight with law enforcement in Eager, Arizona. And realize I'm throwing around some of these numbers like 56 and 38 because by the time you've read this far into the chapter, you're already familiar with how these numbers have been used again and again. And as you know, 38 is a big number with death. But where he died, Eager, Arizona, sums to 116. And he died on 11/6, 116. I mean, how perfect is that? Here, and, the nice thing about the electronic files, you can just do like a Control-C. If you're like, well, here, I want to see if that's true. You can just Control-C and punch it right in here. 116. Notice also the 62 and 73 sacrifice numbers. But all of these famous truth tellers, if you will, from Bill Cooper to Alex Jones, I'm suspicious of them all. When Bill Cooper died, he was reportedly 58 years old, the big Freemasonry number. Bill Cooper and shooting also have the same gematria. So, fitting for him to go out in a shooting. And it's funny that I write here, for as much truth as Bill spoke, I do think he was an agent, but not as bad as Alex Jones. And, I already took Alex Jones apart in this book, so. This chapter right here covers so many deaths, you guys. It's just like an index of pretty much every death you can think of. So. So the protocol writes Bill Hicks and Alex Jones have the same best friend. Both are from the same town. So they both have connections to Texas and Austin, Texas, and the same guy who produced um, Bill Hicks's work, I believe his name's Kevin Booth. He has done some stuff with Alex Jones. So, that could be one of the strongest arguments that they're the same person, but that doesn't prove that they're the same person. You know, the guy's a producer, so he's going to do work for entertainers. They're both entertainers in the same region. Um, that doesn't mean they're the same person, though. And I don't know about Bill Hicks and Joe Rogan. Bill Hicks was famous before Joe Rogan had even made it in show business, as far as I know. But Bill Hicks was a comedian, and so was Joe Rogan. So, I mean, these are pretty weak connections to say that that's proof that he's him. They're from. I mean, I don't know. Think what you want to think, but their voices sound nothing alike. Their wits nothing alike. Their content's nothing alike. Bill Hicks did good work for the world. Alex Jones is nothing but a shill. So, Bill Hicks' daughter works for Alex Jones. Well, you're gonna have to clue me in on that. I didn't even know that Bill Hicks had a daughter. I don't think Bill Hicks has any children. I'll look into that. Thank you for the people buying the book right now. A couple more books sold here in the last 10 minutes. Kanika Jenkins. Okay, you want to see Kanika in the book? Whoops, open up the wrong thing again. Let's see here. All right, I used to have a long video on her death. So she died September 10th, 2017, and it was a big story on September 11th, 2017. On September 11th, 2017, the news story of the day became a 19-year-old girl who reportedly walked into the freezer of the Rosemont Hotel in Chicago, Illinois under her own power and froze to death. What was fascinating about this news coming on September 11th, the 16-year anniversary of a very tragic day involving 19 hijackers, was Rosemont has ordinal gematria of 119. And the word freeze had English extended gematria of 911. In the wake of her passing, a viral internet rumor swirled that the young woman was killed by freezing so that her kidneys could be harvested for Selena Gomez. Understand, this was an internet thing. A young celebrity that admitted to having a kidney transplant on September 14th, just days after the news of Kanika Jenkins' untimely passing. What was interesting about this rumor was Selena Gomez had released a popular music video titled Fetish on July 13th, 2017, 59 days before the young Negro woman was found in the freezer. And the reason I write it that way is because, as I educate about earlier in the book, Negro equals 59, slave 59, blues 59, this number stamped all over Black history, which featured Selena Gomez primarily singing in a walk-in freezer. In light of the story coming in 2017, it should be noted that 59 is the 17th prime, and both 59 and 17 connect to the gematria. Gematria is the plural. So like when we talk about the four outputs, that's gematria, that's the plural of gematria. Connected to the gematria of kill. Further, Selena Gomez had turned 25 years old on July 22nd, 2017, which was 50 days before Kanika Jenkins reportedly died in the freezer. This matters because Selena Gomez has reduction gematria 50, and kidney transplant has a reverse ordinal gematria of 229, the 50th prime number. Consider the date of Jenkins' death had numerology of 36, and the word transplant has a reduction gematria of 36, Even more, the word kidneys equate to 97 in ALW and KLW Kabbalah, whereas Rosemont sums to 97 in reverse ordinal, the same as freeze and death. That matters because 97 is the 25th prime, corresponding with Selena Gomez's age at the time of the transplant. Also noteworthy is that the name Kanika Jenkins was right for Chicago. In ordinal gematria, her name equates to 143, similar to how Chicago sums to 143 in reverse ordinal. Recall, that number corresponds with the reverse reduction gematria of Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. As if you need a reminder about that gang. Rosemont also has the gematria of 38, so does Kanika. Of course, death is 38, murder 38, killing 38, RIP 38. Jenkins is also 107, like ritual sacrifice. And if you missed the videos that I did on this, there's actually even more to it. But when I wrote the book, I tried to just like hit the really solid and easy to understand and piece together points. So as I wrote, sometimes I would take out things and I'd say, well, that's just overkill. This is enough. And like to me, all of these examples, it's a lot to dismiss as coincidence. So let's see here. Oh, it skipped again. It says there's background interference. It might just be the fan on this computer. Here, I'll close some of these tabs. I think all the tabs makes the computer run hotter. See if that cools it off. How does Holocaust play into this? I swear to God you were in my chat earlier and you asked the exact same question and I answered it. It was somebody with an avatar just like you. The word Holocaust has gematria 42, like World War, like Zionism, like Freemason. They say the Holocaust began in 42. And there's a lot more to it. Read my book, please. The Vanilla Godzilla appreciates the $5 price. That's why I have it priced for people like him who are low on the money. Somebody might have found my Kanika video. I know I had more than one on her death, because I did one on the Selena Gomez video too. Woody Cockerson says, time for a bong hit. He's making me jealous. Woody Cockerson is quite a character, that guy. Trump will make way for Barry Soetoro soon, guaranteed. You think Obama's coming back, huh? I can't debunk the Q stuff? Well, you should see my video on Q. Q's pretty easy to debunk. Here, I got to make this guy a moderator too. He's a good contributor. Welcome to the mod position, cheesy truth seeker. I'm not going to raise the price of the book. Here, let's see how many... Oh, shoot. Hold on, I have to look... It's funny, if I look on my phone, I can see how many books are left before I have to renew the ad. If I look at it on the computer, it doesn't say. So I'm looking at my own phone right now to tell you how many books are left at the $5 price. Because I'm pretty sure that once I renew the ad, which I have to pay for, I'm actually going to boost the price. So right now there's 454 units available. So you have time to buy, because lately it hasn't been selling so well. It's been selling around 30 copies a day lately. So at that rate, you probably have 10 or more days to buy the book at $5, unless it picks back up. If it picks back up, it was selling 100 books a day for a while, and then if that happened, you'd only have 4 days left. But I very well might raise the price because so many people have advised me to do that, and I am interested to see if it sells better at a higher price. So, and how much will I raise the price to? I'll think about that. Two numbers that I like that I might raise it to are $12 or $19. So, Bob Crane, I don't believe he is in my book. But here, since he's not, let me see what I'm missing. I can always write another book. Bob Kane. He was a comedian, huh? Born July 13th, dead June 29th. Isn't that 14 days? How many days in June? 30 days, that's what I thought. So he died 14 days before his birthday. Dead equals 14, end equals 14. He was 49 years old. I'm sure there's a whole lot more to it. Bob Crane. Bob Crane's got that 33 gematria. I guess his name was Robert Crane, huh? Robert Edward Crane. Robert Crane 119. What do you know? I'll have to look more into it. But I don't believe his death is in the book. Died in Scottsdale, Arizona. A lot of people die there suspiciously. Down on the 33rd parallel. When you guys tell me that the book's worth a lot more, I already know that. I was thinking that if I priced it at $5, tons of people would buy it because there's no excuse not to. And I thought I'd make plenty off it, but that strategy has not been successful so far. Looking for Truth wants to be a mod, and he gets his wish. He has been a long-time follower. So, welcome to the mod group. Let's see here. I don't know what yeah, of course I'm not right about everything. I don't know what you're talking about though. You said come on. I don't know what thing you're referring to. Is it about the Alex Jones Bill Hicks thing? Oprah or Ivanka? Oh, you're saying for the next president? Both of them have 58 name gematria. You know that? Oprah and Ivanka. Check it out. Oprah 58, Ivanka 58. It's why Donald Trump went on Oprah in 88 and talked about the presidency. Trump 88 went on Oprah. Oprah Winfrey's also 58. Also 158, like Freemasonry. It's not hard to see who created this famous character. Yeah, I'm trying to get the book out in paperback. It was supposed to have happened a long time ago. Did I see the shark attack? I did not. But they love to... Sharks got those numbers. They love to do shark stories. What is going on here? Sharks got that 33 gematria. They love the old shark attack story. Thanks, Kirk. You want to buy the book? Well, I don't know what you're waiting for. I don't know what you're waiting for. The link to get it's in the description. Somebody says I should make the price based on numerology. Well, that's what I was thinking with the 19 thing. That number has a lot to do with me. But the other thing I was thinking is once the book comes out in paperback format, I won't be able to sell it for $5. It's impossible to sell a 773-page book for $5. So, you know, the version I'm selling right now, it's just electronic. It's an instant download. It's a PDF file that you can use on your e-book reader device or your laptop or your phone. $9 would be fair for an ebook. I agree. Maybe I'll do $9. Maybe I'll do $9. Apple did $666. You know why Apple did $666, right? Again, when you write out a word that in the ordinal cipher sums to 111, when you use the Sumerian cipher times 6, comes to 666. Computer is 666. And what else is cute is in the reverse ordinal cipher, internet is 111, which means in the reverse times 6 cipher, internet's 666. Isn't that clever? Christo says we need to promote the what is 47 on a grand scale. He's right about that. He is right about that. Thanks, Autumn. Somebody just bought a book. Thank you, Raymond. I appreciate it. Thanks, fuck you. I appreciate that. Woody Cockerson says I should make the book $9.11. No one will buy it then. That would be a funny price, though. People would be all kinds of suspicious. Well, I'll wait to see what you guys say about the $9.11 thing. All right, you guys. I think, unless there's any last second requests, I'm going to call it a night here. Wesley Walker, you keep writing the same thing. Have you seen the video of the shooting? I mean, it's all contrived crap, but he was walking away. That's why the officer supposedly got charged with second-degree murder, because the story wasn't true. So I think the question's answered according to the news story. Bachelor contestant CC Christy Caserta dead at 38, huh? Let's look it up. Let's look it up here. Oh, I can't just copy that, but I want to. All right, let's see. Is this story what? It just never ends, does it? I mean, it's just every single day. I don't know how anyone denies gematria. The beginning of the murder by chapters number, we go over 38. How often it hits. How did she die? Will it be unknown causes? She died Thursday, October 4, 2018, the date with a life lesson number of 25. Death equals 38 and 25. She was attending a work-related training around 8 p.m. Thursday morning. She had what appeared to be a seizure. Oh, another seizure. Weird. It's those lyrics from Murder by Numbers, you know? Song that came out in 83. Just slip something in somebody's coffee when they're not paying attention. It avoids a whole lot of mess. She was on the 15th season of The Bachelor. Remember when you write out 15 as a word, it sums to 38? Here, I'll show you. Oh, hold on. I already got this up. Let me get rid of these Sumerian ciphers right here. When you write out 15, 38. Just like how death is 38, murder's 38, killing's 38, RIP's 38, also 25 like death 25 and 38. Dead on a date with a life lesson number of 25. And what's The Bachelor? Let's just try the word bachelor alone first. Bachelor's got the 4464 gematria like kill. The Bachelor. 52. Okay, she died on a date with 52 numerology as well. 10 plus 4 plus 20 plus 18, 52. The Bachelor's 97, the 25th prime. Dead on a date with a life lesson number 25. Death 97, 25. I mean, you see how redundant it is? It's just like every time I go to decode something, I'm like, oh my God, it's all the same numbers as last time. Oh my God, it's all the same numbers as last time. She's got some feminine numbers, 53 here, big woman number. Caserta, 67 like blood sacrifice. 68 like caskets go 6 feet deep or 8 feet long. That's 67 jumps in her name gematria. Can we find her birthday? Can we find her birthday? Let me see, bio. See if we can get a birthday for this woman. She was only 38. If only people knew what that meant. Well, it's a reminder you don't want to go on TV. Hey, you guys want to know a real story? After I had a car crash into my house on Christmas Eve, would you believe that days later, I got a small package at my doorstep from Judge Judy? I was like, how in the world does Judge Judy know about this already? I didn't call Judge Judy. How's Judge Judy know? I declined to go on Judge Judy. Thought that might be a death sentence for me. You know what I want, Alan? Alan says, when am I going to make an end-all video for the critics? I feel like I've done that a few times. I just made a gematria video for sheep like a month ago. I wish somebody would debate me on the relevance of gematria. I wish like some big critic out there who thinks my work's BS, I wish they'd come to the table and you know, have a debate. I'd love to hear the person who says it's all coincidence, because I think I'd be able to destroy them in about a million different ways. But it's never happened. You know, like, what's that guy's name? Retard from Boston. He's made it a few videos now saying that gematria is just a bunch of BS, but he won't come and debate me. And I keep saying, hey man, why do you keep making these videos saying gematria is BS? How about come on my radio show, let's have a debate. Let's do a live stream. Please look into the MCR producer engineer Kato Khandwala's death at age 47. I mean, do we even need to look? Date was 68 numerology. 47, I think we know what happened. Wesley Walker, you're trying to Wesley, you should subscribe to my Patreon and watch the video I just did on how to decode sports. If you can only afford it for 1 month, just pay $5. Go find that video and watch. And then just do the same thing with Premier League. You want to know the team names. You want to know the date numerology. For example, if two teams were playing on a date with 57 numerology and one team's name equaled 57 and they were going for their 57th all-time win against the opponent, you would know that that team is winning that day. You know. I have a video on Q. Just search, go to video and type in Q and look for the one that has the hoodie with the big red Q on it. Watch that video. Or watch the video I just did the other day. You know, Donald Trump, October 3rd. I made that video for all the Q balls. Tom McNamara, try Derek's website like 5 times in a row. When it goes down, it'll usually load in one of those 5 times. Happens sometimes. You're welcome, TJ. You are welcome, brother. Chat just skipped on me again. Go on the Ralph Retort. I don't know who the Ralph Retort is. What do I think about the Ohio State Buckeyes? What, the Urban Meyer thing? Check my video on it. It's all ritual. What do I think about Adam Green? Well, I noticed today that Adam Green's really good video on Zionist supremacy was deleted by YouTube, and I thought, wow, they took down that video because he didn't even have any commentary. All he did was made a compilation of videos of Zionists talking about how they're the chosen ones and the rest of us are a bunch of dumb goyim. And I thought, wow, YouTube got rid of that video? I mean, it almost made me take down some of my videos because I can't afford to have my channels deleted again. I won't be able to get back up. So, yeah, it just doesn't seem right that he could get deleted for that video. He's just showing, you know, Jewish people saying how great they are compared to everybody else. Like, what in the world? Woody Cockerson says, debating me, yeah, right. But, you know, I mean, there's just so many people in the world who think this is so stupid. So I feel like somebody, you know, like these people who think it's so dumb, like they'd be like, yeah, I want to debate that guy and show him what a dumb conspiracy theorist, you know, idiot he is. I mean, I want that person to come debate me. Okay, let's have a conversation. Let's see how dumb I am. I'm ready to go. We'll see how ready you are. But it hasn't happened. So, Mick Stanhope says he bought my book yesterday and didn't get the download. Well, Mick, what you need to do is email me. Use the gematria effect news at gmail.com. Just send an email right now and just put book all in caps, and I will email you the book directly as soon as I'm off this live stream. So gematria effect news at gmail.com, and I'll get you the book. Or the other way you can do it is if you're in Etsy already, you can message me. Just message the seller. That's a little button there. And just message me your email and I'll send it to you that way too, whatever's easier for you. Well, Gematria Forum, Marty Leeds once challenged me to a debate because Marty Leeds said that I was teaching a false cipher. And I said, oh, yeah, I'd happily have that debate. And I said, I don't think you're going to look very good. And he ended up backing out of the debate. So I think he ended up doing more research and realized, like, oh, maybe I don't want to have this conversation. Yeah. Well, for me to get on something like the Joe Rogan show, it's going to have to take an army of people spamming him, saying, like, hey, get Zachary K. Hubbard on here to talk about gematria. It actually could happen with Joe Rogan just because he wants to introduce that topic to his audience, and I feel that he wouldn't have introduced that topic if I wasn't out here putting out all this information. Back when he introduced that, there wasn't really anybody else doing gematria videos. That's the other thing, you guys. You know, the one time I did have a debate sort of on this topic, it was with a call for an uprising and Jeff C. It was those two debating me at the same time. And, you know, a call for an uprising ended up retiring from YouTube the next day, but he came back about a month later. So, you know, the show community probably took note. You don't want to debate me, it will not go well in your favor. Reach out to JF Garapi. You guys, if you guys want me on other people's platform, do me the favor and say, hey, you should check out this guy. Message this guy. You know, do it for me. I think it's probably more helpful that way. If these people reach out to me, then I'll go on their program. Anybody who's ever asked me to come on their radio show or their podcast or whatever, I've always gone on there. You know, I was supposed to do one today, but the woman decided that she wasn't going to have me on. And she ended up writing me an email later and saying she didn't have me on because she was worried a call for an uprising was going to be upset. And I don't know what their relationship was, but I was just like, okay, whatever. Somebody wrote, if I sign up for the $5 Patreon a month, will you give me a book? Maybe if you sign up for the $5 Patreon and send me an email about how that's all you can afford, then I'll do it for you. So... Somebody says I need a short clip that says who I am and why I do gematria. But I feel like, I mean, isn't it obvious who I am and what I'm about and why I do gematria? Does it need to be explained? Eddie Zamora wants to know Khabib or Conor. Eddie, I've had a prediction going back to 2015 that Conor McGregor's UFC record will be 22-3. So you do the math. The guy who just got busted before UFC 223, which was on April 7th, in Brooklyn, New York, which equals 223. Conor equals 223, by the way. Trying to download your book, 2 different megabyte MB, which is best? I am confused by your question. Trying to download your book, 2 different MB. The only thing I know is, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm lost with your question. I don't even know what it means. I'm sorry, man. You can download the book to your email, and then you can put it on whatever device you want. Okie dokie. Hey, I was never here. Him equals 66 and 21. Mankind equals 66. I haven't done enough homework on the college championship this year, but Ohio's big number is 47, and the college championship this year is on a date with 47 numerology. I do think Ohio State has a very strong chance to be there, and it'd be a big upset over Alabama. I'm sure Alabama will be there again this year. Adam Green does have a BitChute channel. I learned that last night watching his live stream. And for the record, I put some videos on my BitChute channel today. My BitChute channel is Free to Find Truth. I put up the videos there that I'm worried that they might eventually take down from this channel. And I'm even thinking about taking down some videos from this channel. So, Zach ... I don't know what that means. Well, the news media made a big deal about the red heifer and made it seem like it was the one in their coded riddle. That was all I needed to see. For the guy, okay. Just in case this person's so sincere because they keep spamming the same thing. Look, so this is how you find a video on somebody's channel. So you go to their channel, you get there, and then you go to videos, and then there's a search, this magnifying glass, and I'm just going to search Q because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to find my video, and there it is. It's right here. You know, was it really that hard? I mean, you've written a comment that's like 4 sentences long now 20 times. And in 5 seconds, I was able to find the video. Web search is not that hard, people. I don't disagree that Joe Rogan's a shill, but I don't care if he's a shill. I would love to go on his show because he has a huge audience and it's a way to reach a bunch of people who have no idea about any of this. Plus, talking to shills is fun anyway. I would love to talk about Joe Rogan and have him say, "Hey, Joe, humor me here, Joe. Is this a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that Flight 77 hit the Pentagon 77 minutes after taking off, and the Pentagon's 77 feet tall on the 77th meridian, and in Gematria, September 11th sums to 77 in the most simple and straightforward cipher that was put forth by the Freemason Manly P. Hall years ago in his book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages?" And I'd love to see Joe look at me and say, he'd probably change the topic. Q exposes evil. No, they don't. No, they don't. What Q does is it endorses evil and tricks people into thinking they're fighting for a good cause when really they're, lining up for the evil empire. It's taking people who have good intentions and putting them on the wrong side. That's what Q does. That's what Alex Jones does. That's what shills do. So, I don't know how you guys could possibly think the pussy grabber is anything but evil. Somebody says, do you take PayPal for your book? Yes, you can make the donation through PayPal, but then what you have to do to get the book is you have to email me at gematriaeffectnews@gmail.com, this channel name @gmail.com, and just say, "Hey, Zach, I made a donation under this name to your PayPal. Please send me the book." And I'll just verify that you made a donation, and then I'll send you the book immediately. Miles Mathis. Yeah, he's even repped my work a few times. So, yeah, I'm aware of Miles Mathis. He's all right to me. Thanks for buying the book. You really should read it. Can I be your attorney? I don't think you'd want me to be your attorney. I wasn't even smart enough to keep silent when I was harassed by the police officers, which is why I got arrested. If I wouldn't have said anything, I'm not sure they could have arrested me that day. My mistake was being honest. Let's see. My other mistake was thinking that there was no way they were going to arrest me because I was just trying not to be harassed. Yeah, I imagine people are scared to debate me. Is a call for an uprising Russian vids? Well, I don't know if they're the same person, but what I do know is that they would both share their videos they would make slandering me instantly. As soon as Russian vids had out his video, it was on a call for an uprising's channel within minutes. Same thing with when a call for an uprising made his video, it was on Russian vid's channel within minutes. So if they're not the same person, they work for the same shill network. Neither of them put their face on the screen. They both act like they're the holier. Well, a call for an uprising is a little bit more vulgar version than Russian vids, but a lot of parallels between those two. Life is good since moving. Yeah. I agree, Vanilla Godzilla, that no plane hit. I absolutely agree, but I'm just like focusing on the coincidence thing. I see the urban delinquent got his message deleted. I know that guy likes to make videos attacking me. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Is there any other stories you guys want me to look at? It's getting almost to that time where I gotta log off. We've had some good requests though. What happened for the All for Truth money? Well, most of it was spent on the project, and what was left over I still do have, and eventually I would like to make that project happen again. So I have to find the right people who are capable of building a website and making it happen. You know, I thought I found two guys who were down for the cause, and it turned out after so many months that they were not. And it was my fault for not doing better research on those gentlemen, but I don't know. They did deceive me. I thought they were authentic, so. Yeah, Russian vids learned everything about Gematria from me. So. Somebody says just speaking from the computer is enough, but I disagree. It's more powerful to do things in person, and it just needs to happen. There needs to be what I want to happen is have people start saying, "Hey Zach, I got a venue for you, and I got an audience. Can you travel out here and speak?" And with revenue coming in from things like Patreon and the book, I can afford to travel and do that. And honestly, it doesn't even sound so bad right now because then I can use it as tax write-offs. I'd rather have a bunch of traveling expenses than paying it to Uncle Sam. So, oh yeah, call for an uprising. Sister was murdered by the Satanists. I remember now. Wesley Walker says, any tips to tell people about your work so they understand it easily? Well, I always say, I mean, there's a lot of different good examples you can use to introduce. If somebody's familiar with 9/11 and is into researching 9/11, I think the Flight 77 thing is a great entry point in light of how September 11th sums to 77 with all those other coincidences. Um, another one is this right here. I just think this is a really easy way to introduce gematria to somebody. Explain to people that the odds of a word summing to 74 with the alphabetic order, it really is around 1%. But even just use the argument, just say for the sake of argument, let's just say it's 1 in 10. And if you might offend people with this example, but it's just such an undeniable example. If you write out gospel, parables, cross, Messiah, Jesus, you can even write out Joshua, because Joshua is the English translation of Jesus. But if you write out these words and you see that they all sum to 74 and they're all related, and even if you just, it truly is about 1 in 100 odds of a word summing to 74. But just making it 1 in 10, just for the sake of argument again, you could say, look, the odds of something being 1 in 10 and this many that connect equaling 74, the way the mathematics of that work is 1 in 10 times 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 1 in 10, which in percentages, 1 in 10 times 1 in 10 is 1 in 100, times another 1 in 10 is 1 in 1,000, times another 10 is 1 in 10,000, times another 1 in 10 is 1 in 100,000, times another 1 in 10 is 1 in a million. And consider we multiply the odds of it happening being 10 times better than what it actually is. So the odds of that right there, all working out that way, is 1 in 10 million, And then if, you want to introduce the other ciphers, you can say, look, these are the base ciphers, and in light of Jesus equaling 74, and how interesting is it that Jesus Christ is 74? You know what I mean? And if you just wanted to build on this example, you could say, look, the Catholic Church works by this code. The Jesuits in there are called the Society of Jesus with the alphabetic order. That's 191, which is the 43rd prime. And Jesus Christ equals 43. I mean, what are the odds of these things? We're already into the completely improbable, you have a better chance of winning the lottery odds. And that's the thing about our society. It's like most people just, their minds don't work. They're not good at statistics. They're not good at mathematics. They're not good at sorting out coincidence from impossible coincidence. Like, what was it the other day? Jeff Flake from Snowflake, Arizona flakes out. Today we got Susan Collins, who gets the final word on the Supreme Court nomination, SCSC, plus everything else. So I just think there's so many easy ways to introduce gematria, and every day new examples are made, from sports to news to what's in the Bible. A lot of things in the Bible. I mean, for anyone who's into the Bible, in the beginning is what Genesis means, right? In the beginning equals 137, which is the 33rd prime. Genesis means in the beginning. Genesis sums to 33. What are the odds? Bible's 33 when you flip the alphabetic order around. Call it the good book, So I just think there's so many ways, or even the way I start my book. How do I start my book? Letters and numbers. I start with why is there 26 letters in the English alphabet? In Hebrew and in English, the word God has gematria 26. We have a 26-letter alphabet, letter 26. So I think if you read my book and get familiar with it, there's just pages you can show people in there and be like, what about this? I mean, you really think this is just a coincidence? How about our calendar system? We're talking about how this code's synced up with the calendar. Well, what's calendar? Calendar, whoops, let me spell it right. Calendar's 58. We're on the Gregorian calendar system. Gregorian's 58. The ancients used the zodiac to tell time. Zodiac 58. Star is 58. You flip the alphabet a quarter around. Stars is 58. I have trouble believing so many people would think these things are just all coincidence. And then if somebody's going, well, so what? Why 58? Well, then you could say, well, think about this. NASA was established in 58 by Freemasonry. 58. And secret society equals 58. And Freemasonry is born out of the Rosicrucian order, 58. And King James, who was a Rosicrucian and a Freemason, died at age 58, showing you that there's something with the number. And again, this entire code goes back to God and God's name from the Old Testament, where a lot of this code's connected to is the Tetragrammaton. And, when people look up at the stars and the sky and the zodiac, it's associated with God and the gods. And again, 5 has to do with creation and 8 has to do with infinite. So 5 and 8 have this numerical meaning. God's the infinite creator. So those are some of my tips for talking about the code. Well, Russian vids might have planted the seeds in you for gematria, but that only happened because he learned from me. And that's the one thing I said. Even when Russian vids was shilling against me and slandering me while stealing my content, I said, well, at least Russian vids is sharing gematria, so it's getting out there besides just for me. But he was a really pathetic guy. I mean, truly a loser. I mean, who steals from somebody and slanders the person they steal from? A really pathetic person. So, and what else is sad is, so many Christians, which are some of the most gullible people in the world, they think, oh, I like Russian vids because he claims he's a Christian. Even though you don't know anything about the guy, you don't know what his name is, his face. I just know from what he did to me that he's obviously a horrible human being. He doesn't practice what he preaches. He's a fraud. And most people who are religious are complete frauds. I mean, that's what most frauds do. They hide behind religion. I don't need to hide behind anything. Christos, my phone's on silent. But here, I'll turn the volume on right now. It is right by me, but it's been on silent. So we'll see when the next cha-ching happens. We'll see if we get another cha-ching before I sign off here. And what he means by that is whenever there's a book sale, there's a cha-ching. Oh yeah, Robbie Parker points out about how the last episode of The Sopranos before 9/11 had the 77 reference. Great point. Very true. Predictive programming. What's I forget what the gematria is of Sopranos. Sopranos. It's got the 13 connection. 13 is 117 and 99 and 45. What about The Sopranos? I think that's how the show official title really is. The Sopranos, 147, like Freemason. You guys know what mafia is in Jewish gematria, right? King of New York, when they show Frank White's birthday on the computer screen, it's April 7th. Christopher Walken, the gangster movie. You ever seen Scarface? Tony Montana, he gets those TM initials on the back of his seat after he kills his boss. Look at the clock when Tony Montana kills his boss in that movie. It shows the clock. It's 3:03. 3:03 when Tony Montana takes over. Tony also equals 74 like Masonic. You have to explain that Zach is super smart but a real asshole. Well, that is true. Yeah, UFC scripted. Must be new here. Remember when Conor McGregor knocked out Jose in 13 seconds? That was really very numerical. It's also why I said Conor McGregor will be 22-3 3 years ago. Conor 223. He got busted before UFC 223 in Brooklyn, New York 223. That UFC 223. Remember Masonics 223 was on April 7th. The Masonic compass set at 47 degrees. The date can also be written 7/4, like 74. Brooklyn, New York, the most Jewish neighborhood in America. The Synagogue of Satan 223. It's who runs the UFC. It's owned by a Zionist. I need a new rant. It's hard to rant though. I mean, my most recent rant video brought the FBI to my door, as you know. So, I am answering questions, Joyce. I've been answering a lot of questions lately. Should be doing other things, but so far no cha-chings. Augustine says, I broke the fantasy he was living in. Now he's too woke. Yeah, I know what you mean, man. Sometimes being too woke is not a good thing because then nobody wants to talk to you anymore. Which is also a part of how I had to turn to the web and start venting what I was researching. So I wasn't just talking to myself because everyone in my life essentially abandoned me. So are you of the truth? I'll let you think about it. Thank you for just buying the book. That must have been a little bit ago because I haven't heard any cha-chings. Are you the real Russian vids? Okay, I'm ready to admit it. All this time, I have been Russian vids. Our voices are so similar, aren't they? I'll never forget when Russian vids made the video of how the my neighbor's trees were 9/11 symbolism. Oh goodness, he must not know about Washington State. There's trees everywhere. And you see these trees in Zachary K. Hubbard's backyard? Those are like the twin pines from Back to the Future and the twin towers from 9/11. And do you see this piece of insulation hanging out of his house? Do you see the G on it? It's like, dude, that's just the insulation literally from the walls of my house that's hanging out that just had a SUV drive through it. My goodness. Oh, that was funny. There was about to be a cha-ching, but I was just hitting the button to see what time it was on my phone, and I killed the sound ironically at the same time. But that was a cha-ching. Somebody just got a book. So thank you, 9EQPMDTB. Must be the email. Cover Senator Orrin Hatch's amicus brief submitted on September 11th of this year on Gamble versus United States. It would make it possible for Trump to pardon his lackeys for state-level crimes. I'll look into that. I didn't know about it, but there is a reason Orrin spells his name with a double R, and it's right here, Orrin. I never met an Orrin who spelled his name that way. You know, 74, the big Masonic. What? I don't know what's up with this keyboard, why it does that so much. I can't figure out what that is. It's like, it starts typing in reverse. Masonic 74. Orange 74. Cause a man. You can print out the book, you can take that electronic file to a copy shop and they'll print it out. A lot of people have done that. A call for a butt wiping. If you ever saw me debate him, that's exactly what happened. It was not good for him. That's why he retired the next day. It's too bad he didn't stay retired. Was Rodney Dangerfield a Mason? I don't know if he was, but most of these people in Hollywood and show business are. Zaki did not cover 9/22 Iran attack. It's connected to 8/11. It's background story they are building. Did I miss something? Iran, September 22nd. Iran parade, at least 25 dead. Well, we know why they reported 25, right? Death 25. I didn't know about this story. Published at 7:40 a.m. You gotta love it. Huh. I don't know how I didn't hear about this story. What was I doing on September 22nd? Total news to me right now. This was September 22nd, 2018 was a date with a life lesson number 42. And don't forget, Iran is 42. Gun 42. Ammo 42. War 42. Big military nation over there. So that's popping out about the date. At least 25 people dead and 53 others wounded. Shooting has the gematria of 53. Huh. They got different numbers in two different paragraphs. Like, you can't even get... Okay. Well, I'll look into this story more, but the date's already jumping out and the number dead's jumping out. And these photos are just screaming fake, staged crap, so... Freemasonry runs this nation. Freemasonry pretty much runs the world. But you said it's connected to August 11th, huh? So I'm just going to take a peek at that right now. Let's just see. Let's just see how the dates line up. It's 323 days later, or a span of 324 days. Well, maybe. Tom Cruise can't handle the truth. When Amazon raised their minimum wage to $15 an hour, it made me think about how 47's the 15th prime, and pretty much everything related to Amazon in the last year, all the news has been in connection to 47. So I think it has something to do with that. Yeah, I get worked up when I see the fake sports, just because it just irked me for so long that people can't see through the fake sports or the propaganda news or anything else. But I don't know. I guess the sports irk me more because I'm an athlete, and you know I just don't get it. I don't get how anyone who plays sports is fooled by the shenanigans that go on in these scripted games. What do I do for a living? Well, right now I do this for a living. And hopefully it stays that way. So I'd like to think that the rest of my days will be writing truth books, speaking out, and making a living that way. I used to be a school teacher. I used to have my own business. It was all destroyed on November 15th, 2014. What is it, sweet love? My girlfriend's in the room. She's speaking in silence. She gets so nervous when I'm on the computer. What is it? She won't even talk. All these people are going to think I'm talking to myself.
Oh, no.
See? I don't know if she just came through, but I think she's trying to communicate that it's late and I need to get off the computer, so. Before I go, does anybody else want to get the book so everybody can hear a nice cha-ching?
That's right.
My girlfriend would love to hear a cha-ching. Let's see here. This guy remembers when Gary the numbers guy called in. Yeah, and remember how I made him look really bad and he never called back? Let's see. This person points out the Illuminati card game. Yeah, a lot of predictive programming in that. Talked about those often. I bring them up in my book. Mention them in the chapter on September 11th and other places. All right, guys, I might have to sign off before we get our last cha-ching, but thanks for listening and supporting. And those of you on the Patreon waiting for the sports picks, I'm going to have those out tomorrow. I think tomorrow when I put out the sports picks, we'll try doing it live. Normally I record it and then upload it, but try doing it live tomorrow on the Patreon. That way, if you guys have questions as I'm decoding, I can answer them in real time. And for those of you who aren't signed up for Patreon and don't care about sports picks, every Tuesday night, starting this coming Tuesday, we're going to have Gematria School. It's going to go for at least 2 hours. And I'm going to be talking about, how to learn this skill, how to apply it, how to decode the news stories, the sports games, taking your questions and requests, come up with a clever little lesson for each week. And the nice thing about Gematria School is you can sit wherever you like. So you guys are writing cha-ching in the chat, but it doesn't look like there's anybody here who hasn't bought the book yet or something. So maybe tomorrow it'll be, you'll wake up and the price will be 4 times as high. It just might happen. Hey, there's a cha-ching. Perfect. All right, true seekers, have a good night. Be safe. Until next time.